Well, hello, Dave.
Hey, well, hello. Things are a
How
little
are
bit
you doing?
different today.
Oh, it's my first show bald.
Yes, it is. It's your first one. That's what I was saying. There's a lot to talk about.
Well, I've had it for a while now, so I'm kind of used to it. But
Yes.
yeah,
Well,
yes, bald.
let's talk about the process. Here's the deal. You embraced this. I mean, you jumped in 2 feet first, and then the way you went about it, you're handling things extremely well. As I said, I have two other friends going through what you're going through, and they unfortunately they're struggling. You have gone through this extremely, extremely well, and you decided to say, "Hey, at some point, I'm gonna do this," and you did. You decided to say, "It's just why hold on to whatever's there? Let's just cut it off."
Yeah, I mean, you know, I knew that it was going to come out. So having long hair, that was going to be really traumatic. So that's why I went shorter. And then with the shorter hair, I mean, it just was coming out everywhere. I mean, to me, anything you can eliminate from being
Yeah.
traumatic, it's like seems to me to be the right way. So I was like, okay, it's a little traumatic. Let's get rid of it because listen, I don't hate being bald. I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Uh,
okay, so what's here? I'm gonna take a step back. Did you ever see the first ever Star Trek movie? Do you remember that? It came out like in
I don't think
1980.
so. I don't think
Okay.
so.
And there was a bald girl that worked with William Shatner, and she was really pretty. And I was like, and you're going, wow, I've never seen a bald woman before. At least me as a kid. I was, whatever, 8, 9 years old, and I'm going, I go, that's really pretty woman. And then men started doing it when Michael Jordan started shaving his head. All of a sudden, men started shaving their heads, and you're going, there's some good bald looking guys, and then there are some bald guys where they shave their head. You're like, oh my god, what happened to your head? Like they, got the wrinkles in
Yeah.
the back of their neck where their head connects, and then they look like they have dents in their head, and like and certain people
Yeah.
who they had chicken pox at some point and scratched, and then it left scars on their heads. So they're really bad looking bald guys. But then, as I said, for women to do it, you're seeing it more and more. I see it on TV more and more of women who don't have hair. But one thing, I mean, this sounds maybe ridiculous to you. You have a good head. Like you're lucky you have a good head.
No. Well, I said this to Keegan when I was shaving it. I was like, "Well, let's hope there's a good head under there." She's like, "I can see it. I can see it. There is. You're good. You're good."
That's the best. That's awesome.
And like, I was worried that I was gonna have like a big flat spot on the back of my head, but I
Yeah.
don't. And she was saying, "Oh, I was worried that when you lift your eyebrows, like, what if your head wrinkled? Because some people it
Oh
does. It
yeah.
wrinkles like all the way back. That was her fear. I was like, well, I don't. No, I don't think that happens to women as much. But yeah, it's a it's a fine head.
Yeah, you got a good head. I mean, it's funny we find humor in something, but you know what I would think of if I was in that situation, and you never know what's coming down the line, but I know my son Josh would say, "You know what? You look like that toy you used to get where the guy comes, is on it's the yellow background, it's a bald guy, and then you have to take the magnet and you just sit there and you put adding hair to it.
Yes.
Do you remember that toy?
Yeah.
That's what my kid
Mhm.
would say. You look like that guy. I just need to add the magnet to your face and your hair to fill you out. That's what needs to happen." Oh my gosh. So I want to ask you about the process because again, if you follow Nicole on Instagram, she basically put everything out there and your daughter was part of the process, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, she wanted to be there and to help, and she felt like it was gonna be satisfying, the shaving. But I needed her because like there was some spots in the back I couldn't get, and yeah, she had to go around afterwards and make sure it was all gone. So she was a big help, but she didn't get freaked out at all. So I was really lucky because you never know with kids. You just don't,
Yeah.
you know, you don't know how
Yeah.
they're gonna react to things. But she was fine.
Absolutely.
She's still fine.
So yeah, for the people who don't live in Southern California, it has been a colder winter spring than normal. Like, as you and I are doing the show, this morning, it was 48 degrees this morning when
Yeah.
I was up walking the dog. And then I think now it's in the high 50s. And so to stay warm, do you feel not having hair that, hey, I'm feeling the temperature?
Yes. Yes. So, I feel like when it touches the air, I feel like I am walking around with wet hair. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like my hair's wet, I just got out of the shower. So that's what it feels like all the time. So I've worn hats in the house a couple times, to keep my head warm, but usually when I go outside, the sun keeps it warm enough. Um, but but, it hurts a little bit to wear a hat because the hair follicles are
I imagine.
sensitive.
I
So,
imagine.
yeah, it's not the best feeling to wear a hat, but, yeah, it gets cold. It gets really
Yeah.
cold. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know,
the other
the
day
one
I was
thing.
walking around with a
Yeah.
headband, like, what you wear skiing, it's like a knitted,
Oh yeah.
ear warmer. Yeah, I had that on. I was freezing.
You know, one thing is people who watch the show, and the more I think you get to know Nicole, she's a no BS person, and you like to, you get things done. And so this has to be like a process out of your day where you're like, I have more free time to get my day started, right? I mean,
Yeah.
boom, just off and going.
Yeah.
It's like I knew you always find a positive in everything, and I was like,
Yeah.
here she talks
No,
about the products and why she buys the product she buys because it makes her life easier. But this is one of those where, hey, I'm ready to go. There we go.
yeah, some sunblock and I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So
It's fun.
just because I'm obviously very curious, where are you at in your treatment right now? Like when's the next chemo session?
It's next Tuesday, the 2nd,
Okay.
so it'll be, April 2nd is my 3rd treatment, and I just got a call yesterday. I need to make an appointment now, so I need to go in and do a scan. They're gonna go in and see where we're at and,
Mhm.
if there's any changes or anything's happening. And it's strange because I can feel a lot of, activity. Like, I can
Wow.
feel. Yeah. So, it's weird. And you sit there and you're like, "Okay, I feel that." And they're like, "I hope that that's it working, not it, like,
Exactly.
doing the opposite." You know what I mean? Let's
Yeah.
hope that that sensation is a good thing. So, and my doctor had asked me, I mean, we're praying it's a good thing because he had asked me, does it feel like it's any smaller or do you feel any sensation? And I said, it doesn't feel smaller, but I do feel sensation. So, and he just gave me like the prayer hands. So,
Good.
we'll see. We'll see. I have to go take an imaging test and we'll see where we're at.
As I said before, I love the fact that people that you know or new people that you're meeting are reaching out, and I know it's putting you on television shows and interviews and everything else, but um, do, do, do you feel this? I mean, to look for positives, do you feel this as a positive? I mean, do you feel the love from people?
Yes, I definitely feel the love and it helps a lot because it makes it a lot less lonely. Um, and it just, it lifts your spirit. It really does. So, um, you can't make that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a gift. It's a gift to have, be surrounded and having people lift you up because, um, yeah, it's just not something you can necessarily do on your own.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of people can relate. Either, I mean, unfortunately, we're at the stage where either you've had cancer or someone very close to you that has a cancer that's gone through this fight, and it's not easy. There's so many different emotions as we watch you as other people in my life that I've watched, and it's hard. Yeah, I can't imagine
Yeah.
doing this alone.
No,
I can't
I
imagine.
wouldn't want to do it alone either. But wait a minute, can we talk about P. Diddy?
Go ahead, go ahead,
Oh
because
my god. Is that guy stepping in the shit or what? He's in
yeah,
so much trouble, huh?
yeah, I don't mean to
Oh,
laugh when I should have grinned, but here's my deal. I've never been a huge fan. Like, I always thought, I don't know how, like, there are some people in life you look at and you go, how does that guy fall up? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people that fall up in life. It seemed like to me he's always fallen up. And some people might look at him. I'm just going to speak for myself. Some people might look at him and go, this guy's extremely talented. I never felt that way. I felt like he was in the right place at the right time, kind of a deal. Like, even
yeah.
when Biggie Smalls got shot up in Los Angeles and unfortunately passed away. P Diddy was in the other car. I mean, he wasn't in that car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's just like everything seems to go his way, and then continue to make a ton of money off him even after his death. And I don't know. I just never been a fan of everything. I've never been that guy. Goes, man, I'm a huge P Diddy fan. And what's his name now? And all that stuff. So when this goes bad for somebody, I'm not that I'm rooting for bad things to happen, but I mean, this is about as low as you can go.
Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. I always felt like he was like a good bullshitter or something, right? Like he just was
Yeah,
a
me
good
too.
hustler, and that's why he got
That's a great call.
where he gotten to. But it really surprises me with people when they just think they're untouchable and like like sex trafficking. What are you doing? Go get therapy. Go
Yeah.
check yourself into a hospital. What are you doing? Like I just it, it's mind blowing. And you figure it has to be the money and all the fame and the power just gone to their head that they just think that they can do these things. But I mean,
That's
if
a
Jeffrey Epstein wasn't your first like clue to knock it off, I mean, I just I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay, you brought up an interesting point. I've always said this a lot with celebrities that I watch, whether it's Michael Jackson, we'll say, is that when you're a celebrity and you're at your highest point, and everywhere you go, your sense of reality is skewed, meaning that when you leave the house or people that you surround yourself with are just yes people all the time and telling you how great you are. I think it's easy to see why your sense of reality is different from a person that works, a daily, 9 to 5 job and lives a normal life, so to say. But
Yeah.
when you, I don't know what that life is like, and so I mean, you've been in situations where I'm sure when you're doing Charles in Charge and Baywatch, where every time you were somewhere in public away from the set, people are only saying great things to you. But you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, when you look back at it now, did you think at any time, because you were a kid, at any time, did you think your sense of reality was different than what it really was?
Well, I mean, I do get that part. I do get that their sense of reality can be off, right? And they can be their ego can be bloated, right? Or their head can be really big and they just might think that they're almighty when they're not. But also, there comes this thing with fame where you're really careful because you don't want things to get into the press. Right?
Yes.
So there's also that sense of like they're skeptical on who they allow in their house and you don't want stories in the press, you don't want this, you don't want that, you don't want to get photographed here or there. So where did that spidey sense go when you start sex trafficking from
Yeah.
your Bel Air mansion? What?
Yeah.
I'm so blown away by it. And I mean, I don't know why I'm blown away by it. It makes me just feel like, how do you not get the help you need? And how do you not figure that out?
Because look, we all know, I mean, what's right and wrong when it comes to this. This isn't a matter of people say, your clothes are great or your music's great. This is a matter of children. And you
Rape.
go, everybody
Yeah,
knows it's wrong.
yeah,
I don't care who you are, that's wrong. That's frowned upon. Sorry. But that's what it is. And so when you have everything, like when you look at his lifestyle, I mean, he has all the money he'll ever need. He never
yeah.
has to do anything again, but it basically enjoy his time. Why? Right? The question is
Yeah.
why? It's
Why?
insane. I mean, he has kids and he has a family, and you go at some point, didn't you look at your kids and go, man, these are precious people? How do you look at other people's kids and think they aren't?
I know. And I even can be okay with unfaithfulness and like maybe being really promiscuous or, being, sleeping around a lot and being wild in that area. Okay, fine. But there's a difference. This is
Yeah.
like, this becomes an organized crime, right? This becomes
Yes.
like, I don't know where he ever thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
look at Russell Simmons took off and moved to Thailand, right, to get himself out of hot water. You saw what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. You saw what happened with R. Kelly. Like, why would you think that wouldn't happen to you?
good point.
And it's
Good
not like
point.
he's someone unrecognizable doing this and can fly under the radar. I mean,
No.
everybody on the
No.
planet knows who P. Diddy is. Like,
Yes.
Sean Combs, you're recognizable, and people are gonna tell on you.
That it's It's a horrible story. It might be the number one thing that phone calls I received this week was about this topic. People that, hey, can you believe? And this is the story. It's if you would have told me 3 months ago that the majority of people that call me in my life would talk to me about P Diddy, you out of your mind? Like for what? Like I can't believe it. But this is the number one topic that people are just their mind blown over what's happening.
I mean, it's shocking.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising, but it's shocking because you just you sit there and you go, "Why? Why, man? Why? What is so wrong?" I don't really understand, but um and then the other thing is let's talk about the Dodger guy. Do you believe he's
Shohei
innocent
Ohtani.
or do you think he's guilty? What do you think about him?
Okay, I love that you bring up the Dodgers. As it's opening week for the Dodgers. They open on Thursday. In a couple days against the St. Louis Cardinals, and I'm super excited. I mean, I wear a Dodger hat on the show almost every single time we talk to each other. So, a big Dodger fan, very excited that Shohei Ohtani was signed by the Dodgers. I don't care how much money. I'm not the one paying it, so I don't care. Um, I believe him. Now, call me crazy, but from what everything I know, and I know I want to believe him that he was robbed and he wasn't the one that was gambling because Nicole in Major League Baseball, if you get caught
You can't
gambling, I mean
gamble.
it's
Right, yeah.
yeah, it's on the door when you walk into every clubhouse in Major League Baseball, gambling. I mean, it says against the rules and you're suspended for life. I mean, he won't get paid. His career would be over. It would be completely done if it comes back that it was him.
And
But
it's
the way
gambling on any sport, right? It's any sport, you just can't gamble at
you
all.
so that's a great question. So in there are 50 states, obviously. In 42 of the 50 states, sports gambling is legal. It is not legal in California. Okay, sports gambling is not legal in California, and obviously he's been in
Oh.
California with the Angels and now with the Dodgers. And so the story is all the gambling so far has been on soccer games and basketball games and college football games. Has had nothing to do with it. Still, is it's still illegal. So if it was him that was using his interpreter to say we're going to use your name, I'm the one that's placing the bets, it's all going to come out. I mean, Homeland Security, the FBI, everyone's involved in this. IRS is involved in this now. Everybody's looking to see, what is the situation. Now, his teammates, when he came out and said, "Hey, wait a second, I got robbed." What I didn't even think about this. I'm kind of curious to know if you would have thought about this. You're pretty bright. When his interpreter came out and said, "Hey, I'm the one with the gambling problem," and he was addressing the LA Dodgers and the entire team about what was going on, and he said first thing he said was, Shohei basically paid my debt. And he I have a gambling problem. My wife doesn't even know about it. And Shohei was a good friend of mine for the last 10 years. We're best friends. He paid my debt when he saw I was in trouble. And for people that don't realize, Shohei makes a tremendous amount of money. I mean, 65 million a year just in endorsements, crazy amount of money. Signed a $700 million contract. 4.5 million is not a ton of money to a guy with that kind of money, but still, it's a lot of money. So he's speaking, and then when he was in the locker room with the Dodgers, they had another Japanese person in the room. Then the guy was going to be his replacement, and he starts repeating to Shohei in Japanese what the guy is saying in English. And Shohei, they say, lost his mind, jumped up out of his chair, and said he is lying. And so what he was being told by his interpreter, he was lying to Shohei, saying something else in English, two different things. And he found out when everyone else found out that he was, as he says, a victim of massive theft. And they said he reacted like a person like you and I would if we found out our money was missing. And so it wasn't the way they say his reaction was like a normal human being. And that what that guy was saying was lying. And then his next story was I had access to his account and I was funneling money out of his account to basically pay my gambling addiction. And so this is the way Shohei reacted from his teammates. They said it seemed very, very genuine. So I don't know. I want to believe that's the story. It's his interpreter basically was stealing from him. But if it comes out that it's Shohei Ohtani that was gambling, it's over.
It's
It's over.
over. I mean, I wanna believe him too, but why does an interpreter have access to your money?
Okay, so they say this is his so-called best friend with each other 24 hours a day. This is his guy. He just got married, by the way, a month ago. Now, as crazy as that sounds, I know guys, and you probably know people and obviously through the acting world that have granted access to other people and their money. But there are guys in baseball, basketball that have been robbed to zero by their agents, by friends, that they just said, you know what, here's it, who's why would you rob for me? I trust you. And then they have been robbed. So I've seen this story about 5 times of people I personally know.
Well, first of all, that's stupid. You don't give anybody access to your money. That's just stupid. And if they've been robbed by an agent, a manager, or like a business manager, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those people steal all the time. That's like a common thing that happens. That's unfortunate, but that makes sense, right? But if you're making this kind of money, why would you ever not protect yourself? I mean, that is just. And listen, I know athletes are not the brightest in the bunch, but like that's just
Remember, this
really
is a 20
stupid.
something year old kid. Yeah, this is a kid I mean, Shohei's only in his 20s. He's not, I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for
Where's
what
his
was going through his
parents? I
mind.
mean, where's his parents?
Uh,
Where's his business manager? Where are these people that say, okay,
Yes,
yeah, that guy just has access to your account? I don't know.
absolutely
That
right.
seems
That
crazy.
absolutely right. I have a buddy of mine who's a former Major League Baseball player that's made hundreds of millions of dollars, and we had this exact conversation. He says, "Look, even if I granted access to my son," he said, "who's now in his mid 20s, who's also a pro baseball player, even if I granted access to him, my financial guys would say, hey, he just pulled out, $50,000." He goes, I
Yes,
would get a phone call from my representatives to say, hey, that number was higher than normal. 50,000 to let it go to 4.5 million
it's
is
wild.
is nuts. Is
To me,
nuts. And
that's what screams red flags because also isn't correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Shohei like really financially savvy? Like doesn't he save some of his money? Like he doesn't get paid?
he
Isn't he
deferred
doing a thing where he deferred, right? He deferred
he de-
his
the,
okay,
the
so
seven
talk
hundred
about
million
that.
dollars. He deferred it down to $2 million a year. So, and he said he would have deferred the entire thing, but they made him take the $2 million. So to give you an example, how much I mean, we're talking about crazy money, but so in Major League Baseball, he's the highest endorsement guy, makes 65 million a year in endorsements. The next two guys down the list, number two and number three, are tied for two, make only $7 million. And as you
Wow.
know, this is only, but it shows you the global star that he actually is. That he makes 65 million just off of wearing New Balance shoes or doing commercials, whatever it is. So you ask where are his parents? I've asked that question forever. Like if this is my son in his 20s, you would see me at a game once in a while. No one ever
Yeah.
sees Shohei's parents. I've never seen his parents, and I've been following him for 6 years. I've
Oh, is
never
that
seen his
right?
parents anywhere.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know the culture. I don't know anything how things go. But the only people you see are Shohei and his interpreter, and he now has obviously a team of lawyers, and he has representatives and everything that are trying to get to the bottom of this. I mean I don't know. If he is innocent and he's trying to prove that he's innocent, man, this is a tough road, especially with the season starting. Think about everything in your mind of having to perform, knowing everyone's looking at you as you might be a guy that violated the number one rule of sports, and that's gambling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah. I
surprised
mean,
you brought it up, but you're right on with the hot topic right there.
because I mean, and it's like he deferred that payment. Why? Because he gets to save a bunch on taxes or something, doesn't he? He
Yes,
gets
because if he collects that money when he's out of California, he gets a lot more money. So
okay.
let's
So
say he bought a
somebody
home.
is advising this guy. So somewhere
Yes,
he's got some good financial knowledge, and
yes,
somewhere someone's taking care of him because that's a big deal.
yeah, yeah. So if he
Um,
retires
so
and goes
where
to
where's
Nevada
four
or Texas or
million?
Tennessee, where's the
Yeah,
four and a
where
half
does
million?
4 million just poof and disappear? $4 million?
Yeah, for yeah, and well, they say normally in these cases, just for I'm looking at, they usually don't go after the person that's gambling. I mean, this is a higher number, so they would, but they go after the bookie. This is a huge crime against a bookie. It's an illegal gambling operation. And if that's 4.5 million for him, what other clients does this guy have? Like,
Yeah.
the government's coming after him. It's a big damn
Oh,
deal.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's going to be a story that lasts a while.
I really hope he's innocent. I really do. I'll be so
And
sad if he's not.
it is tough to clear him. What came out also, I thought this weekend it was kind of wild. Again, this is his best friend. This is the guy hangs out with him all the time. They found out he lied on his resume. He has on his resume he graduated from University of California, Riverside. He never went to Riverside. He worked for the
Oh.
Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox said, "This guy's never worked for us." Everything on his resume was a lie.
Oh. Oh, so he's
He
he's a he's a
he's been a
hustler.
BS artist for a long time, and
Got it.
so but they started researching and going, wait a second, this guy's lying. I mean, if it came out that hey, this guy doesn't even speak Japanese, like what's next? I mean, this guy's lied all the way through.
He's
Like
not
what the
even
hell's happening?
Japanese.
Yeah, what's happening here? But yeah,
Oh,
I thought it was
no.
kind of wild, and yeah, it's very very interesting. Also, it's funny to me that this guy not only claims to be Shohei's friend and hangs out with him all the time, but he's married. I had no idea that his interpreter was married. It's like, how does his wife let him spend 24 hours a day, 365 with someone else when you're married? He was only getting paid about 85,000 a year. That's all I said. That's all he was making. That's what he was making as an interpreter.
Now,
But
is
he
the
said
wife in
Shohei took
America
care of him.
or
Yeah, in
is
America.
she in Japan?
No, in America. Yeah, very
And then
strange.
Shohei just got married, right? He just got married.
Yeah,
So
just got married last month.
yeah, what you imagine, like, isn't the wife like, what's up with this guy all the time? I mean, I don't know.
I can't
I don't know.
imagine what's going through your mind.
It's all very weird, and I want him to be innocent. I do. I just want, it's just
I
it'll be a shame that
Me
he's
too.
that stupid, but hopefully he learns a lesson. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's wild. It's
yeah.
wild. It would be so disappointing if he was guilty. Oh my god. How did they
I am
even
glad that
discover that the money was missing? How did they even discover all this,
I think I
anyways?
think I think the law enforcement was looking into the bookie, and then it started a paper trail of following it back and realized he was involved and his bank accounts were involved. That there were wire transfer after wire transfer of $500,000,
Got it.
and it came straight from Shohei's account. So it looked like Shohei was the one paying it, and that's what the guy said. He said he's a good friend of mine, so he's paying my debt. And then Shohei's that's not true at all. I didn't know anything about this, and so to put it in perspective to people that want to tell me I'm crazy and I'm just, you're looking at it. I'm not looking just as a Dodger fan. He's good for the sport, which I love. Um, if I said to you, Nicole, I go, can I borrow or can I have $4.50? And you look in your wallet and you have $65, you give me the $4.50. You know what I mean? You say,
Yeah.
yeah, I got $65 in my wallet. You got it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically the equivalent when some guys making 65 million a year just to nothing, throwaway money. That the money's not a big deal, but he didn't authorize it. I mean, he straight. That's not even the case. That's what the interpreter is saying. It wasn't a big deal
Right.
to him. But
Right. But that's
that's
still
not the
it's for
case. Yeah,
$4 million, it's $4 million to
yeah,
anybody, no matter how rich you are. At what
exactly.
point, yeah, if he was giving this guy the money, he would say, "What's going on in your life? Like, what are you
Yes.
doing?" Right?
What's happening?
Are you on drugs? What is happening here? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that's what was happening. Oh
Yeah, no,
boy, what a
yeah, it's kind of wild. A friend of mine's close with the Angels and the Angels baseball team, and that's where Ohtani was the last 6 years before this year. And they do, a March Madness bracket, like it's basketball season, and people throw in, like I'm in one, and you throw in $20, and whatever you win, you get whatever. And the Angels buy-in was like $30,000. I'm just throwing a number out there. It was $30,000 for your bracket, and his interpreter entered the pool, and the guy running the bracket goes, 30,000 is a lot of money. Like, I guess Shohei pays you really well. He goes, oh yeah, he pays me really well. That was his answer back. Well, if you're making 85,000 a year, you aren't going to put 30,000 into just like a guess. It's like
no,
buying a lottery ticket. And
no way.
but they questioned him last year, I heard, of saying that's a lot of money for a guy that makes 85,000 a year. And he goes, no, Shohei gives me money on the side. It's all good. And he jumped right in the basketball pool.
You know, this is what I'm hoping is that Shohei was generous with him and probably gave him a lot of perks and paid for stuff, and then he just really took advantage. He just went in
Yeah.
there and took advantage.
Yeah, it is a
So
huge story. Yeah, the two things you brought up, absolutely. I got to
but I
ask
still I
you.
still don't understand.
Yeah,
I still don't understand who didn't catch the $4 million was missing. There's something funny about that, but hey,
you aren't the only one. I think that's the
yeah.
number one question. If people I know who are celebrities have said that to me this week, they go, "How do you not catch it?" I
Yeah.
don't care who you are, your handler, somebody catches those big funds that are leaving your account. No,
Yeah.
you're
That's a lot of
absolutely
money.
absolutely right. I gotta ask you, are you watching The Valley? Are you watching this new show?
I did watch it. I did. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I almost feel embarrassed for them. Like, you know, when you're watching something and you feel embarrassed for whoever you're watching? I feel like that's
Yeah.
how I was feeling. They're a
Yeah.
little too old. This is too old.
It is. It's like it's almost sad too old.
It
I
is.
know I shouldn't be talking like that, but I'm like, what the fuck?
I
Like
know.
this was really good when about 10 years ago, this age group. Now this age group's like kind of sad, you know?
Really sad,
It's
and especially to introduce new characters. So, like,
yeah.
Jax and Brittany and, the other Kristen Doty, we watched them grow up on TV, right? So it kind of
Yes.
okay, it's acceptable. Yeah, let's catch up with what they're doing in their life right now, which is not anything much different than what they were doing before. Um, but to introduce the new characters, I'm sitting there going, "Oh my god, you have friends that are just as bad as you? Like, there's a huge group of you all
Yeah.
just weird." But they're
Yeah.
so LA. It is so it just is so quintessential Los Angeles Peter Pan syndrome people. I just it really is.
Okay, so I've watched the first two. Okay, look, who am I kidding? I'm gonna be watching all of them. I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere. All right, I'm watching this damn show. I never liked Jax before. I hate him now more than ever
Yeah.
before.
Oh, he's the
And
worst.
at the same time, I'm going, are the producers saying do the things you're doing, or is this him saying, look, I was lucky enough to catch lightning in a bottle again. I'm not gonna mess this up. This is gonna be entertaining, even if it's a train wreck. Like his behavior is ridiculous. I had a buddy of mine who said to me, he watched it. He said, "This guy's on coke." And I said, "How do you know?" He goes, "I've been around a lot of people on coke. I'm telling you right now, he's on coke." And I was like, "Okay, you say so." Like I wouldn't know, but he swears to me, and I said, "Oh, okay." But I'm watching the first one. His behavior was very strange. The idea of introducing a girl's, uh, former boyfriend to her current boyfriend was the worst idea of all time. And everyone told him, do not do that. And it turned into a bad deal. I feel so bad from the guy from Colorado. I can't think of his name. I'm like, he's just your average guy who's now thrown into this TV show and he's not prepared for it.
Right. This is true.
Yeah.
Well, Jax, yeah, it's either coke or it's steroids or it's both. I don't
I think
know.
it's both.
And
Could
because
be
I mean,
both.
I would swear that Tom Sandoval has to be too. I mean,
That's why I get
listen,
back
they're
my
party
same
people.
friend. Yeah, my
Yeah,
same
they're
friend says the
part
same thing.
same circle. They're party people. Like that's what people in LA do. They do coke in the bathroom. Um, but so on the other side of that, when he went into Vanderpump Rules and he gave it to Tom, he handed Tom his ass. I was kind of loving that moment because
Did he?
that Tom really is just, I mean, he is, I want to scratch my eyeballs out. I cannot stand him. He is so full of himself and no accountability, thinks he's the biggest star in the world, and he just and wants to be a victim at the same time, and he's a mess. He's a mess.
Yeah.
So when Jax was yelling at him and saying, "You're a disaster," I got to chuckle because he was right. He's
Yeah.
right. I saw Jax on this show. There was a show, a reality game. I can't think of what it's called right now. Oh, it was like the ultimate villain, the villains. And I mean, that's his behavior. That's his personality. I mean, he was on there telling them, oh, bragging. You know, it was a show for money too. They were going to win money. And he's like bragging about how much money he makes and bragging about his show and his bar and all of this. And I just thought, oh, you can't help yourself. You can't help it. You can't
Yeah.
shut up. He can't shut up.
No. No, I mean, I'm sure you've met people that seem like they're just addicted to fame, and that is him.
Yeah.
That is
And
him.
it's so aggressive. So aggressive.
Yes.
That's where
No, he's
the coke conspiracy and the steroid conspiracy comes in because why are you so angry like that? Why are you
yeah.
so aggressive like that 24/7? That's bizarre. It's
Okay,
very
so at
bizarre.
the same time, when you look at someone like that that ends up with his wife Brittany, and you hear they're going through a whole other issues, but she's so loyal to him. Like, don't you see? Like, how come she can't open her eyes?
I
That's
know.
so frustrating to me where I feel like we've all been there. We've all seen somebody with someone go, "Don't you see that person's not good for you?" And
Yeah.
yet you
Well,
buy
it's,
into it.
she's a kid in, right? She's a kid in, she's in the house, she's in a show. Like, it's
Yep.
kind of a weird time to take off, but yeah, we'll see what happens with them. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that he's not a loyal husband. I don't know. And at what point does she just not even care? She's just there for the kids and,
Yeah.
whatever paychecks are coming in.
Where are you at on Vanderpump right now?
I watched last night.
Yeah, I did too.
I watched. Yeah, I mean, oh, and this whole drama with Sheena. Like, are you kidding? Sheena and Tom Schwartz making out? Like, uh, and it's again, it's one of these things. It's like why am I shocked?
Yeah.
These are the most incestuous bunch of kids I have ever seen. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then dumb Schwartz, who like doesn't mean any harm, opens his mouth and causes a shitstorm.
The
I
guy's
just
dumb as a rock. Dumbest guy I've ever seen on
dumb,
television.
so
Yeah.
dumb. And it's like he's so naive, right? Like he's so naive. And what do you think about the girl Joe that he's like dating, not dating, friends with, that they all
I
hate?
feel bad for her. Again, she
You
jumped
do?
into a TV show. I feel bad. I did feel bad for her. I'm like, she sounds like a normal person that's just getting hit by a tidal wave, just getting knocked down over and over again.
Yeah, but
She's
then
not built to last.
when Ariana said that she came and spent Thanksgiving in Ariana's house, but knew that Tom and
Oh, that's a good point.
Raquel were sleeping together and having this affair, she knew about it and she was quiet. Um, I get
Yeah.
I get it. And maybe you're thrown into the show and you don't know what to do, so you keep your mouth shut, but you're gonna that has consequences.
Yeah. No, it's I'm watching these. I keep thinking of Lisa Vanderpump. A couple things. One is that she's a smart businesswoman, right? Even
Yeah.
the restaurant she closes down, they raise the rent. I'm not going to pay that rent. And then she's sitting there bringing out more and more shows. I think she has 3 of them now, right? Coming out. And so you go, wow, she knows what she's doing. When she's calling those girls out for not starting that sandwich shop, going, you're paying
Yeah.
rent every month. You better open. And she's not dumb. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know why they don't take her advice.
Well, I don't that's the other thing. No one listens to Lisa, but obviously they all wanna be like Lisa, but they don't
Yeah.
listen to anything she says, which is mind-boggling. And what are these girls doing that they can't get a sandwich shop open? Like, what's going on? What is going on?
It's a good
What?
point. What
Top
are you doing?
priority. Let's prioritize things a little bit here. Like, yeah,
That is
I
too damn
just
funny.
not the brightest bunch, not the brightest
No,
bunch whatsoever.
no,
Unbelievable.
I'm glad you're watching the Valley. Though is another thing for me to ask you, but it's it's a mess of a show, and here I am watching another one. I'm
Yeah.
stuck. They got me.
Oh,
I'm in the show.
I'm
Oh
in it.
boy.
I'm in it. Yeah, Below Deck is good this season too. So far, it's really good. Um, but I love Frasier, the chief stew. So give me Frasier any day. I'll take it. He's so funny. I love that show.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get to today's mailbag. People have questions
Okay.
for you, okay, Nicole? All right. So
Let's do
again,
it.
if you want to ask Nicole a question, it's perfectlytwistedpod.com. Go ahead, ask Nicole a question, and we'll try and get it on here. These questions got 5 of them from Jeff E. It says, Nicole, do you consider yourself a hoarder?
A hoarder?
A hoarder.
No.
That's the question. Okay, yeah, I don't think you're a hoarder.
What? A
You think
whore?
you're a
Am I a
minimalist?
whore or am I a hoarder?
Not a
I'm neither.
a hoarder. Hoarder. Like do
I'm
safe stuff.
neither a hoarder. No. Oh dear God, no.
Neither.
No, I get crazy if it's things are messy. I'm too OCD. I need space and organization. So hoarding does not fly for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what made you think that about me. I would like
Ask
to know, Jeff. If you could write in and
I
let me know why you think that, I would love to
I'm
know.
gonna guess
But
when I saw the question was because you mentioned you had a storage unit, and so that's the only thing I can
oh
think of why somebody would say that to you. But otherwise, no, I don't think you'd be that person at all. You know,
no, not at all.
when you not bring up a sad topic, but when you had to take care of your parents' things, was there a ton of stuff that you had to take care of? Like I watched my mother take care of her mother's things, and oh my gosh, my grandmother was a hoarder. Like we found toothpaste from 1955. No joke. It was crazy. It took 6 months to clear out our house. I'm like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
shit in here.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have to deal with it?
Mhm. A lot. And my mom was like an antique collector, and she had a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff. Yes. And the thing is that she was renting the place that she was in when she passed. So we had to get everything out and then go through
Yeah.
it later. Like we went through it a little bit as we were taking it out, but we didn't have the time to sit and go through everything. So we had to take it all. This is why I had a storage unit full of her stuff, is because I still was left with a whole bunch, and I put it in a storage unit and then went back to go through it. It was a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, my mom had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's always tough for kids. I think of that all the time about doing it to my son, about what stuff do I have to get rid of to make his life easier
Well,
when I pass.
have you watched that show, Swedish Death Cleaning?
No.
So in Sweden, they have this whole thing where when you don't have to be terminally ill or anything like that, but when this comes to your mind, you go through and you clean everything out so that you don't leave this mess to your children. Which I did
Yeah.
it. I did it this last move. I finally got rid of all of my mom's stuff. I got rid of all of my extra stuff, and I literally have the stuff in my place and one little storage shed that has their memorabilia and stuff like that in it. So yeah, it's Swedish death cleaning, and it's like you really clean out so
Wow.
that you don't leave the mess to people. It's great.
Next question on here. Nicole, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sensitive are you?
Well, that depends.
Okay.
That would depend on what we're talking about. If you're talking about my kids, I am hyper sensitive. Um, y- you know, I'm sensitive to other things and other people, not necessarily myself. I'm pretty resilient as an individual, but I am very empathetic and sympathetic to other people and especially kids.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
You put me right in that same line. I'd answer the question the exact same way. Yeah. I think maybe we're just at the point in our lives where you could say anything to us and it's not going to affect us at all, you know?
Yeah, I've heard
But
the worst of it.
yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Mm-mm.
Me too.
Yeah, I've heard the
Me too.
worst. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in I was in Costco the other day and literally checking out. I was one person away from checking out, and some guy in the back just screams, "Fuck you, Dave Pele." I'm
Oh,
back there, and I was like, God dang it. I almost made it out of here. Son of a bitch. You know?
oh my
People
God.
staring at me.
I want to be there one day when somebody does
Oh,
that.
go
If
to a
I ever see
Padre
you
game
in
with me.
public, I'm going to scream it. If I
Yeah.
ever randomly see you
Yeah.
out, I'm going to go, fuck
Oh.
you, Dave Ballet.
No, you'll be the third one that day. It's because of
I
the
love that.
Dodgers. That's why.
I,
People get
I
so
love
mad
that.
that I root for the Dodgers in this town. But yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I love that
I
so
don't know.
much.
There's a guy when I go to these press boxes. It's funny because the press box is a local media, and then there's always the traveling media that comes to with whatever team, whether it's Philadelphia, New York. And so the people, it's not the same people, except for the people from Southern California. And there's this one guy from the Associated Press, and he will yell from 50 feet away, "Hey, has someone told you to go fuck yourself today?" And he'll just screaming at me. And he goes, "I'll be the first. Fuck you." And everyone's like back and forth, like, "Oh my God, a fight's about to happen." But the guy's been doing it to me since 1994. Same guy just screams it at
Do
me.
you say anything back, or you just smile
No,
and wave? I mean,
I act like it's the first time I heard it every time. Every time, like, what? And then everyone's always looking back and forth like a tennis match, going, "This guy's gonna kill that guy." And then it's always funny. He always tells me to go fuck myself all the time. But the media that travels into town always freaks out. It does sound ridiculous. But the Associated Press is like, what are they going to do to me? They can't get rid of me. So he just does
yeah.
not mind screaming that out, embarrassing me. Anyway, there you go. Nicole, what's your favorite quality when it comes to your kids? What do you like most about your kids?
Um, I think that I mean, without a doubt, it's how thoughtful they are, and like how aware and sensitive they are to other people and feelings, and they think things out. I was a mess, you know what I mean? Like when I was younger, wasn't thinking about anything. I look back and I'm like, how did I make it? These kids like really think about stuff, and they're thoughtful. They're really thoughtful, nice people. And it's not just me loving on them. It's when other parents, this happened last night at an event. The mother said, "Your daughter can come over anytime. Like my house
Love
runs
it.
better when she's in it." So she's like, she includes the other siblings. Like they're just good people. They're two really good people.
I think as a parent, there's nothing better than when another parent tells you that your kid's well behaved or they're welcome anytime. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah, thank God. You're right. When you when you hear that, you're just like, whew,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
they're pushing your kid out the door. It was great having her. Boom, it was
Get
pushing her
get
right
out.
at you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come get your kid. Yeah.
that is great. All right, fourth question. Let's go, Nicole. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in yourself?
I think that as I get older, the more I'm much more confident in myself. I wasn't when I was younger at all, so this has been an evolution. And I
I'm
will
the same way.
say that, since I got my diagnosis, I'm even more comfortable in myself because I've learned to, like, really love myself and love my body and, like, say thanks for all that you do every day. It's not about, "I'm gonna stop picking on you for your faults, and I'm gonna thank you for, like, getting up and pumping that blood and beating that heart, giving me a
Good.
brain to think." So, now I feel really, really confident. I just yeah, I just it's a self-love thing.
I'm with you 100%. The way you answer that question is exactly, I'd say the same way. As a kid, not so confident. As an adult, a 10, 1 to 10, I feel fine.
Yeah,
As I said, it's
yeah,
very hard for you to say or do anything directly to me that would ruin my day. That's kind of it. You know,
yeah.
that's great. All right, I love this last question. It depends how you answer it, I guess. Nicole, do you have a bucket list?
Oh, um, you know, I think just travel is really on my itinerary. It's just really what I wanna do is, for a big part of my life here, I've kinda stopped a lot of the traveling. I traveled a lot in my life, and lately I realized really haven't been doing that. So, soon as I get a clean bill of health, I wanna travel.
Good,
You know
good deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Where would be, let's say, 1 or 2 places that you're
Well, I
looking forward to
definitely wanna
going?
go to Thailand because I've never been to Asia, but it's like there's so many places in Asia I wanna go. I mean, I wanna go to India too. I wanna see all of Asia, um, and of course, go back to Europe because I'd love to catch up with my cousins and, show Keegan, she wants to go to Paris. So, I just really wanna I gotta figure out how I'm gonna fund all of this, of course,
Yes.
but
We'll worry about that later.
we'll worry
Yeah.
about that later. These are the
Maybe
dreams.
get a job as an interpreter. Yeah.
Yeah, great, yeah. Perfect, perfect.
There you go. That's Jeff, appreciate the questions. That was great. Again, if you want to ask Nicole a question, perfectlytwistedpod.com. Look at the mailbag at the top of the screen and submit your questions. But those are great. Those are great. Did a
Yeah,
good
thanks,
job there.
Jeff.
There you go. That was
Thanks,
a
Jeff.
fast
Even though you
show.
think I'm a hoarder, but
That could have been worse. Could have said whore, but he
could
said
be worse.
hoarder.
Could have been hoard. Yeah.
That was a quick show. That was a lot going on right there. That was fun. I'm glad to see you're doing well. You always keep your sense of humor, and that you're doing the well. You're running with this thing as best as anyone I've ever seen.
Well,
Doing good.
thank you. I appreciate that. I listen, it's survival of the fittest right now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like I don't want to spend any more time unhappy. I want, let's be happy.
exactly, exactly right.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there you go. All right, that
Yes.
was awesome.
All
That was
right.
awesome. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up. Give a like to the video as well. If you like the show, you follow Nicole. Please give that thumbs up. We appreciate it.
Bye. See you next week.